Why do American houses seem like they're made of paper? Drywall isn't particularly strong, but it's very cheap and easy to repair. They are. Paper gives drywall its strength. The gypsum would crumble without it. It's cheap, lightweight, finishes easily and is durable so long as Kyle keeps his fists to himself. I live in a 120-year-old house made of wood and brick. No one builds anything with plywood here. Plywood is affixed to structural framing made out of solid wood, often reinforced with metal brackets or fasteners. Wood frame construction will last over 100 years easily and is easier to expand and wildly easier to install, repair, or upgrade electrical and plumbing. Because it's cheap, durable, and renewable. Yeah, if somebody drives a car through your house, things are going to break. But that's not the kind of stress and wear a house is designed to weather. Wood structures can last a long time. I've personally lived in a wood frame house that was at least 160 years old. I'm not sure how old exactly, but it was built some time before 1860, and it was in good condition. Also, there's a wooden temple in Japan, Horyuji, that was built in the 8th century and thus predates quite a lot of the old stone structures in Europe by hundreds of years. You should go to Japan. A lot of the walls are literally paper. Leaned on a door once and put a hole in it. We don't have a lot of big bad wolves here. Not all houses in all of America. I know people who live in houses over 100 years old. My own house is a log cabin. One of the strongest constructions for houses anywhere. Half the houses on my street are at least partially stone construction. We don't have many tornadoes or earthquakes where I am, but we do have strong storms, so heavier construction makes sense where I am. Other parts of the country things are different. I lived for a long time in San Francisco. Most of the houses there are newer because of the 1906 earthquake, which knocked down half the city. And the resulting fires burned down most of the rest. And wood frame houses are used in other places in the world. It depends on environment and resources available. Lumber is cheap over there since they have many forests. It makes economic sense to build using mass-produced plywood. Both wood and stone, brick will get severely damaged by earthquakes, tornadoes, floods. So the usually longer lifespan of stone, brick doesn't have much of an actual impact. The building will need to be replaced anyways. Might as well get the more cost-effective option. That's called survivorship bias. Flimsy houses that were built 120 years ago aren't around anymore. The only ones that are left are the sturdy ones, making us think they were all built that way. Wooden churches centuries old are everywhere in Europe. Wood is just fine. Just remember to paint. My brother lives in a house 120 plus years old and it still looks brand new. Because of maintenance and constant repairs. And it does not look like brand new unless it has been renovated very recently. I'm from Finland. Most houses are made of wood and the old town here is from 1600 to 1800s. All made of wood. They do not look brand new but are in good condition. Because they have been renovated. It is constant process. Friends who live there are always fixing something big. Wood houses can and do last more than 100 years. There are many original colonial homes built in the US that are still standing with proper maintenance. Rock and brick are strong, but bad ideas in areas with seismic activity, 'cause they are brittle. For that reason, many places don't allow new building with masonry. New buildings that appear to be masonry is a facade over lumber. For homes, or steel. For large commercial buildings, American homes are very strong. They just aren't built to withstand a head-on collision from a pickup truck. And when people came to this land of massive freakin' forests, they had choices. Dig up a bunch of rocks to build homes. Or head over and cut down a couple trees. Many early homes actually were built with stone here. It's very common to find old 100 to 200-year-old farmhouses in the US because farmers would use the stones they plowed out of their fields to build their homes. But as for some of the materials people complain about, here are the advantages. Wood. Cheap. And easy to get straight-ish pieces of lumber from the abundant pine trees we have here. Gypsum. Sheetrock. Drywall. Again cheap. Cheaper than plastic. And used as a fire barrier. Plus easy to patch and repair. OSB. Plywood. Cheap. And even the cheaper OSB crap provides great shear strength when used as cladding outside the lumber framing. Tar-based roofing shingles. You guessed it. Cheaper than clay tiles or whatever the hell you richies use. But does a decent job of keeping the weather out for 15 to 20 years per roof. And doesn't shatter when hail hits it. And stays in place with several centimeters of snow load. What I won't defend. Alternating current was born here. By an immigrant. Like all great things were. But yeah, 220V was a better idea. We shoulda joined you guys for 220V residential mains. We have dumb power receptacles. Yours are safer. We shoulda copied them. More electrical stuff probably. In the US, 120-year-old houses aren't made with drywall. Wait until they learn about Japan. The most solid brick and stone buildings will fall apart if no one maintains them. Lots of houses across Europe have fallen into disrepair and rubble. Judging the quality of houses by what's left is survivorship bias. There are advantages to a lightwood frame house. 1. It goes up more quickly than stone, brick, or concrete. 2. It is more flexible about the temperature and weather. It can be put up in. 3. It is less expensive. 4. It is more forgiving of errors, can be repaired cheaply and easily. Comparatively speaking. Which means it requires less skilled labor. 5. It's lighter and easier to transport than stone or brick. Part of why it got started, since wood was abundant and easy to get locally or transport on the river. 6. Parts can be pre-assembled and shipped. Prefabricated housing. 7. It allows insulating the house, which makes the temperature inside more controlled to hot, cold. The air gap and insulation materials are better at insulating than thick stone or brick. 8. Renovating and changing parts of it later is simpler and easier. That said, they aren't that easy to break and do last very well. You act like houses are worthless unless they last many hundreds of years with next to no repairs. That's not always or even often a requirement. These last many hundreds of years with regular maintenance, mostly keeping the roof in good repair to avoid water damage. And I imagine you're doing that in brick and stone homes. 2. Good drywall will actually more likely bruise your knuckles than break unless you punch it very hard. Most PPL would hurt their hand rather than break the drywall. Plus, punching a wall is a measure of how strong the wall is. How often do you punch the wall at your house? That's not a useful measurement. My wood frame house is 152 years old. Durable enough, it seems. America is huge and there are many environmental reasons to build different houses. Why spend way more on materials if the house is not gonna make it 100 years without being shredded by a tornado? Why build a hyper-sturdy house when it's to be flexible for earthquakes? One good thing with drywall is that you get excellent Wi-Fi coverage throughout the house with only one access point. https://u2.be/wpxllcdwgc. This is why.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.